Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to come today. I may regret this photograph, I don't know. I'm a scientist, don't you know? And I do occasionally wear a white coat, but only when people are taking photographs these days. My name is Simon Hirst, as you can see. I'm the CEO and also the founder of Sygnature Discovery. Sygnature Discovery is a lab-based research company which carries out applied research in drug discovery for pharmaceutical clients. So I guess there might be one or two people in the audience who don't know anything about drug discovery. For their benefit, I'll just give you a little bit of a background as to what we do. For us, the process begins in silico, that is on a computer. We use the computer to develop models of key targets in diseases, and then we use those models to design small molecules which could have the potential to turn into drugs. So the idea is that we want those small molecules to modify the disease target. So for example, if it was an inflammatory target, we would want to reduce the amount of inflammation arising from that target. So what we do is once we have the designs in silico, we then take those designs into our labs, where the medicinal chemists will try their best to actually turn these into real molecules. And once we have the molecules in hand, then we pass them to our bioscience team, and it's the bioscientists who will sort of run these through a series of cell-based assays and characterize them and determine how they behave in a cell culture. And the information that we garner from that process, we then use to improve the design of the molecules. And it's an iterative process. We go through a series of design, make, test cycles, spanning 2 to 3 years in duration, which will hopefully ultimately result in a candidate drug. Our research areas include things like respiratory disease, so we're working in cystic fibrosis, a number of novel cancer targets, and Alzheimer's disease, just to name a few. We're now 62 members of staff, most of whom are scientists. Not quite as mad as me, obviously, but I think 95% of the staff are graduates. Of the scientists, 75% of them are PhDs with a minimum of 5 to 7 years industrial experience, and typically between 7 and 15 years experience. It's most off-putting staring at your face when you look like that. Yeah, we've had a very exceptional time of it over the last 12 months. We've recruited heavily, and we've had some notable successes as a company. In terms of our track record, we've filed over 22 patents in the last 12 months, in which the inventors are Sygnature scientists. And we have 3 compounds which have been progressed into human clinical trials. The most advanced of those is already being dosed to patients with respiratory disease. So we're very excited about seeing those progress over the next few years. Although those compounds are not our compounds, they're compounds we discovered for our clients. As a business, we've also grown quite a bit over the last 12 months. We've recruited over 20 scientists in the last 12 months, quite a few of them from the AstraZeneca site at Charnwood and Loughborough, which closed down last year, as many of you will know. And that was, for us, an opportunity to recruit some really world-class scientists. One of the other things that's been very notable about 2011 is we diversified as a company in our offerings. We moved away from purely being medicinal chemists to building a bioscience team. And that team, that was a decision we made in August of last year. We recruited again from AstraZeneca to build that team, and we've now established that within the organization. And within a few weeks of establishing that group, we'd already signed our first contracts for integrated drug discovery. So that's been extremely successful, and we already have plans to double the size of that team within the next 6 months. I suppose the last notable thing I wanted to mention was that I was awarded Nottingham Post Science and Technology Entrepreneur in 2011, and that was really great as well. So, we're based in Biocity in Nottingham. you've heard a little bit about Biocity already. I would like to add to that and say that it's a fantastic environment for growing a business. For us, when I was seeking to establish the business, had it not been for Biocity, I'm very clear that we would have been based in Cambridge and not Nottingham, because we really needed access to chemical laboratories, and they're very hard to find for a small company. Now we have our own laboratories, which are built at Biocity, and we occupy about 20,000 square feet there. It's been a fantastic environment, very supportive from a business point of view, and very stimulating from an intellectual point of view to work with a lot of other exciting companies in the same environment. Nottingham itself is also very important to us. It's very important that the city, as already been mentioned, has two excellent universities, and the surrounding region also has many excellent universities as well. And lots of our scientists have been recruited from those universities over the last few years. In fact, we've been almost constantly recruiting over the last 3 or 4 years. Certainly, Nottingham as a city and Biocity as a location to work in the city has been a big part of attracting people, recruiting them and retaining them, and retaining a world-class team of scientists at Sygnature. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Again, a great presentation, and I'm sure you were a worthy winner of all those awards that you referred to. But I think what came across to me from what you just said is, again, the importance of getting the right people, getting the scientists that you want to undertake the research. And can you just comment on how you see that developing over the next 3 to 5 years? Are we able to attract those scientists to Nottingham, or are you going to reach a point where, frankly, it's going to be difficult to actually get people to relocate here?
I mean, I think the growth of Sygnature is partly on the back of a change within the pharmaceutical sector in the way it works. And so we've been lucky in the last few years that we've been able to attract and recruit really high-quality scientists, because they've been, in turn, coming out of the pharmaceutical sector themselves. But whether we can continue to do that forever, I very much doubt it. Last year, we recruited from quite widely across Europe and also from the US, and I see we're going to have to keep doing that, I think.
And do you think Nottingham's got a reputation for the sort of creative scientific research that you're describing?
I think it does through the universities, particularly from a scientific reputation. The university is very strong, and it's surprising what sort of a network there is out there of people who have at one time passed through the universities and know the city because of that, and know that it's a highly desirable place to live and work.
Well, I think what you've achieved is fantastic. Thank you, Simon.